No one is coming to save you. It's your job to build you. Introduction.
This is Dr. Julian Vance, and today, I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to challenge you, to build yourself into the person you were meant to be. There comes a point in every life where comfort becomes a cage, and survival isn't enough. Build Yourself is not a book filled with fluff or empty motivation. It's a blueprint, a call to action, a raw, unfiltered guide for the person ready to face their excuses, destroy their limitations, and construct a stronger version of themselves, day by day. Inside, you'll learn the silent disciplines of self-mastery, the truth behind growth no one talks about, and the power of daily, unseen effort. Whether you're rebuilding after a fall or starting from zero, this book gives you the tools and the truth. This isn't just about success. It's about identity. You don't find yourself. You build yourself. Chapter 1. Break the Old Frame. Introduction. The prison you built yourself. Right now, as you're reading this, you're sitting in a prison. But here's the twist. You build it yourself. Brick by brick, excuse by excuse, fear by fear. The bars aren't made of steel. They're made of the words, I can't, I'm not good enough, and what if I fail? But today, we're going to take a sledgehammer to those walls. Today, we break the old frame, the foundation of lies. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. How many of your deepest beliefs about yourself aren't even yours? Think about it. That voice in your head telling you you're not smart enough. Whose voice is that really? Your third grade teacher who said you'd never amount to anything? Your parent who was so scared of their own failures that they projected those fears onto you? We walk around carrying these inherited fears like family heirlooms, polishing them daily, treating them as sacred truth. But here's what nobody told you. Just because someone gave you their fear doesn't mean you have to keep it. I want you to imagine your mind as a house. For years, maybe decades, you've been living in rooms that other people built. You've been sleeping in beds that other people made, looking through windows that other people installed, and wondering why the view never changes. The foundation of your self-image was poured by people who were probably just as lost and scared as you are now. But foundations can be rebuilt. Houses can be demolished. And new ones can rise from the ashes of what came before. The inner voice wars. Right now, there's a war happening inside your head. On one side, you have the voice of possibility, quiet, often drowned out but persistent. It whispers things like, maybe I could try that, or what if this time is different? On the other side, you have the voice of limitation, loud, aggressive, and armed with years of evidence about why you should stay small. Which voice are you feeding? Every time you say, I'm just not good at that, you're feeding the limitation voice. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're giving it ammunition. Every time you accept good enough when you know you're capable of extraordinary, you're surrendering another battle in this war. But here's the secret they don't want you to know. You get to choose which voice wins. You're not a passive observer in your own life. You are the general of your own army, and it's time to start acting like it. The comfortable trap. Comfort is a drug, and most of us are addicts. We've become so comfortable with our limitations that they feel like home. We've made peace with mediocrity, settled into the rhythm of just getting by, and convinced ourselves that this is all there is. But comfort is a trap disguised as a gift. It promises safety while slowly suffocating your dreams. It offers predictability while stealing your potential. Every day you choose comfort over challenge. You're choosing a smaller version of yourself. I know what you're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if I embarrass myself? And to that I say, so what? So what if you fail? So what if you're not ready? So what if you embarrass yourself? Do you know what's more embarrassing than failing? Never trying, never knowing, never giving yourself the chance to see what you're truly capable of. The unlearning revolution. Everything you think you know about your capabilities needs to be questioned. Every limitation you've accepted needs to be challenged. Every I can't needs to be replaced with I haven't yet. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending your challenges don't exist. This is about recognizing that most of your limitations aren't based on reality. They're based on outdated programming from a version of you that no longer exists. You're not the same person who failed that test in school. You are not the same person who got rejected from that job. You are not the same person who was told you weren't good enough. You have grown, learned, and evolved, but your self-image is still running on software from years ago. It's time for an upgrade. Breaking point to breaking free. There comes a moment in every person's life when they reach a breaking point. Maybe you're there right now. Maybe that's why you're here, reading this, looking for something to spark the fire that's been smoldering inside you. That breaking point isn't your ending, it's your beginning. It's not where you fall apart. It's where you fall together into the person you were always meant to be. The old frame of who you thought you were is cracking. Good. Let it shatter completely. Let every limiting belief, every inherited fear, every excuse you've been carrying fall to the ground like broken glass. And as you stand there, surrounded by the pieces of your old self, realize that you now have the raw materials to build something extraordinary. The reconstruction begins now. You're not here to live someone else's version of your life. You're not here to shrink yourself to fit into boxes that other people built. You're not here to play it safe, stay small, or settle for less than your dreams demand. You are here to break every limitation that was never yours to begin with. You are here to question every fear that was passed down like a toxic inheritance. You are here to take control of the voice in your head and make it an ally instead of an enemy. The old frame is broken. The foundation of lies has been exposed. The comfortable trap has lost its power over you. Now comes the most important question of all. What are you going to build in its place? Chapter 2. Rewire your mind. The ultimate mental transformation. The power within your control. Right now, as you sit here, the most powerful tool for transformation is sitting between your ears. Your mind isn't just a passive observer of your life. It's the architect, the engineer, and the construction crew all rolled into one. Every thought you think is literally rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways, strengthening some connections while letting others fade away. This isn't motivation speak. This is neuroscience. Your brain has neuroplasticity, which means it can change, adapt, and evolve at any age. The question isn't whether you can change your mind. The question is whether you will. Think about the most successful people you know, the ones who seem to have an almost supernatural ability to focus, to push through obstacles, to maintain discipline when everyone else gives up. They weren't born different. They weren't given some special genetic code that makes them superior. What they have is something far more powerful and far more accessible. They have trained their minds to work for them instead of against them. They've learned the secret that I'm about to share with you. Your mind is programmable, and you hold the remote control. Breaking free from mental prison. Most people live their entire lives as prisoners of their own thoughts, trapped by mental patterns that were installed years ago by other people's opinions, past failures, and limiting beliefs. You walk around carrying programming that isn't even yours. Voices of teachers who told you that you weren't smart enough. Parents who said you should be more realistic. Friends who convinced you to play it safe. These voices have become your inner dialogue, and this inner dialogue has become your reality. But here's the truth that will set you free. Just because you've been thinking a certain way doesn't mean you have to keep thinking that way. Just because you've believed something about yourself for years doesn't make it true. Your current thoughts are nothing more than habits. And like any habit, they can be changed. The moment you realize that you're not your thoughts, that you are the observer of your thoughts, everything changes. You go from being a victim of your mind to being the master of it. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can let your mind run on autopilot, replaying the same old stories, the same old fears, the same old limitations. Or you can grab the wheel and consciously direct your mental energy toward what you want to create. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't even opportunity. It's this conscious choice to take control of their mental programming. The architecture of unshakable focus. Focus isn't about concentration, it's about elimination. In a world designed to scatter your attention, the ability to focus has become a superpower. But most people have it backwards. They think focus means trying harder to pay attention to everything. Real focus means ruthlessly eliminating everything that doesn't serve your highest goal. It means training your mind to recognize distractions and dismiss them before they can take root. Your mind is like a powerful spotlight. Right now, that spotlight is probably jumping around like a disco ball, illuminating a little bit of everything, but nothing deeply enough to create real change. The masters of success have learned to lock that spotlight onto their target and keep it there with laser-like intensity. They've developed what I call selective ignorance, the ability to ignore anything that doesn't move them closer to their goal. The alchemy of unshakable belief. Belief is not something you hope for, it's something you build. Every day, through your actions and your thoughts, you're either building evidence for what's possible in your life or building evidence for what's not possible. Your subconscious mind is constantly collecting this evidence and using it to determine what you deserve, what you can achieve, and what your limits are. Most people are unconsciously building a case against themselves. They focus on their failures, replay their mistakes, and use their past as evidence of what they can't do. But the masters of transformation flip this script. They become forensic investigators of their own success, collecting evidence of every small win, every moment of progress, every time they prove their limitations wrong. Your belief system is like a thermostat in your house. It regulates what level of success you'll allow yourself to achieve. If your belief thermostat is set low, you'll unconsciously sabotage yourself every time you get close to breaking through to the next level. But when you consciously raise that thermostat by building evidence of what you're capable of, your external results have no choice but to rise to match your internal programming. The warrior's mindset. Your mind isn't just a tool for thinking, it's a weapon for conquering. But like any weapon, it must be sharpened, maintained, and wielded with skill. The greatest warriors throughout history understood that the battle is won or lost in the mind before it ever reaches the battlefield. They spent more time preparing mentally than they did preparing physically because they knew that a strong mind could overcome physical limitations, but a weak mind would surrender even when the body was capable of more. This is your training ground. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your mental muscles. Every obstacle is a chance to prove that you are stronger than your circumstances. Every setback is a setup for a comeback that will demonstrate the true power of a mind that refuses to be defeated. The warrior's mindset isn't about being aggressive or confrontational. It's about being uncompromising with your standards and unwavering in your commitment to growth. It's about approaching your goals with the intensity of someone whose life depends on achieving them. Because in truth, the quality of your life does depend on it. Transformation through mental revolution. Real transformation doesn't happen gradually. It happens in moments of decision. There comes a point in every transformation where you must make a complete break from who you were and step fully into who you're becoming. This isn't about changing your behavior. This is about changing your identity at the deepest level. The old you had reasons, excuses, and explanations for why things couldn't be different. The new you has solutions, strategies, and an unshakable commitment to making things different. The old you is shaped by circumstances. The new you shapes circumstances. The old you reacted to life. The new you creates life. This transformation begins with a simple but profound shift. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what if it does work? You stop looking for reasons why you can't and start looking for ways that you can. You stop being the victim of your thoughts and start being the author of your thoughts. Your mind as your greatest ally. The journey of rewiring your mind is not about becoming someone different. It's about becoming who you really are beneath all the programming, beneath all the limitations, beneath all the stories you've been telling yourself. Your true self is infinitely more powerful than you've been led to believe. Your mind is not your enemy working against you. It's your greatest ally waiting to be activated. It's been waiting for you to take command, to give it clear instructions, to point it toward a worthy target and let it work its magic. The same mental power that has been creating your current reality can be redirected to create any reality you choose. The time for playing small is over. The time for accepting less than you're capable of is over. The time for letting your mind run wild with doubt and fear is over. Today, you take control. Today, you rewire your mind. Today, you become the architect of your own transformation. This is not just another self-improvement technique. This is a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. This is your mental revolution, and it starts now. Chapter 3: Build Ruthless Habits. The foundation of unstoppable success. Let me start with a truth that might sting. Motivation is a lie. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it's the most unreliable foundation you could possibly build your life upon. Motivation is like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny and perfect, other times it's a devastating storm, and most of the time it's just mediocre and forgettable. You wouldn't build your house hoping for perfect weather every day. So why are you building your life hoping for perfect motivation every morning? The people you admire, the ones who seem to have it all figured out, they're not running on some secret supply of endless motivation. They've discovered something far more powerful, far more reliable: ruthless habits. These aren't just routines or good intentions. They're your daily armor against mediocrity, your engine that runs regardless of how you feel, and the invisible structure that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary forces of nature. Think about this for a moment. Every single day, you're making thousands of micro decisions. What time you wake up, whether you check your phone immediately, what you eat for breakfast, how you respond to stress, whether you exercise, how you treat people, what you choose to focus on. Most people think these small decisions don't matter because each one, in isolation, seems insignificant. But here's what they're missing. These micro decisions compound. They stack on top of each other, day after day, week after week, year after year, until they become the architecture of your entire existence. Your habits are not just things you do, they are who you are. Every action you repeat is a vote for the type of person you believe yourself to be. When you hit the snooze button, you're voting for someone who lacks discipline. When you skip the workout, you're voting for someone who doesn't prioritize their health. When you choose the easy path over the right path, you're voting for someone who settles for less. But here's the beautiful flip side. When you consistently choose discipline over comfort, you're voting for someone who is unstoppable. The word ruthless isn't an accident here. Building transformative habits requires a level of commitment that most people aren't willing to embrace. It means being ruthless with your time, ruthless with your energy, ruthless with your excuses, and most importantly, ruthless with yourself. It means deciding that your future self matters more than your current comfort. It means understanding that every moment you choose ease over effort, you're stealing from the person you're trying to become. Let's talk about the mythology of willpower. Society has convinced us that some people are born with incredible self-discipline while others are just naturally weak. This is complete nonsense. Willpower isn't a fixed resource that you either have or don't have. It's a muscle that gets stronger with use and weaker with neglect. But here's the crucial insight. Relying on willpower alone is like trying to build a skyscraper with nothing but determination. You need systems, structures, and automatic behaviors that function regardless of how motivated or disciplined you feel in any given moment. The most successful people in the world don't wake up every morning and decide whether they feel like being successful today. They've built systems that make success automatic. Their habits have become so ingrained, so automatic, that they require almost no conscious thought or emotional energy. They've essentially programmed themselves for excellence, creating a life where the right choices happen by default rather than by constant internal struggle. Consider the compound effect of small, consistent actions. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better than when you started. But if you decline by just 1% every day, you'll be nearly zero by year's end. This isn't just mathematics. This is the fundamental law that governs human transformation. Your daily habits are either compounding in your favor or working against you. There's no neutral ground. Every day, you're not moving forward, you're moving backward because the world around you never stops advancing. The beautiful truth about habits is that they work even when you don't feel like it. They work when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're confused, and when you're completely unmotivated. They work because they've transcended the realm of decision-making and entered the realm of identity. When something becomes a habit, it's no longer a choice you make. It's simply who you are. But building ruthless habits isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. The person who exercises for 15 minutes every single day for a year will be in dramatically better shape than the person who exercises intensely for 2 hours once a week. The person who reads for 10 minutes every day will consume dozens of books and transform their knowledge base, while the person who occasionally binge reads for hours will retain little and develop no lasting momentum. Consistency beats intensity every single time because consistency builds identity, while intensity is just an event. Your environment is either working for you or against you. Most people try to change their habits while keeping everything else the same, and then wonder why they fail. If you want to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with healthy food and remove the junk. If you want to read more, put books everywhere and hide your phone. If you want to exercise consistently, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Your environment should make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Design your surroundings to support the person you're becoming, not the person you currently are. The power of habit stacking cannot be overstated. This is where you attach a new habit to an existing one, creating a chain reaction of positive behaviors. After you brush your teeth, you meditate for 5 minutes. After you pour your morning coffee, you write in your journal. After you sit down at your desk, you tackle your most important task first. These connections create automatic triggers that bypass the need for motivation or decision-making. Let's address the voice in your head that's probably saying, "But I've tried to build habits before and failed." That voice is trying to protect you from disappointment, but it's also trying to keep you exactly where you are. Past failures don't predict future results. They provide data. Every failed attempt taught you something about what doesn't work. Every relapse showed you where your system had weaknesses. Every restart proved that you haven't given up on yourself. The only true failure is stopping completely. The key is to start smaller than you think you need to. Most people fail because they try to transform their entire life overnight. They want to wake up at 5 a.m., exercise for an hour, eat perfectly, meditate for 30 minutes, read for an hour, and completely reorganize their work habits all starting Monday. This isn't ambitious, it's delusional. Real transformation happens through almost embarrassingly small steps that build momentum over time. If you want to start exercising, begin with putting on your workout clothes every day. That's it. Don't worry about the actual workout yet. Just prove to yourself that you can consistently get dressed for exercise. Once that becomes automatic, add 5 minutes of movement, then 10, then 15. You're not just building the habit of exercise, you're building the identity of someone who prioritizes their health. You're proving to yourself that you're the type of person who follows through on commitments. The same principle applies to any habit you want to build. Want to become a writer? Start by opening a blank document every day. Want to learn a new language? Start with 1 word per day. Want to build a business? Start by writing down 1 business idea every day. These actions might seem insignificant, but they're actually revolutionary because they're changing your identity at the most fundamental level. Your brain is constantly looking for evidence of who you are. Every small action provides that evidence. When you consistently do small things, your brain starts to believe that you're the type of person who does those things. This creates a positive feedback loop where your identity supports your habits, and your habits reinforce your identity. You're literally rewiring your brain to support the person you want to become. But let's be honest about the resistance you'll face. Your current self has an agenda. It wants to keep you comfortable, safe, and unchanged. Every time you try to build a new habit, your current self will throw everything it has at you. It will make you feel tired when it's time to exercise. It will make healthy food taste boring. It will make productive work feel overwhelming. It will convince you that you can start tomorrow, or next week, or next month. This resistance isn't a character flaw, it's a normal part of the process. The secret is to expect this resistance and prepare for it. Your discipline doesn't need to be stronger than your resistance. It just needs to be more consistent. You don't need to want to do the right thing every day. You just need to do it anyway. This is what separates people who achieve lasting transformation from people who live in cycles of motivation and disappointment. Creating ruthless habits also means being ruthless about what you stop doing. Every yes to something good requires a no to something else. If you want to wake up early, you need to go to bed early, which might mean saying no to late-night entertainment. If you want to eat healthier, you need to say no to convenient junk food. If you want to build a business, you need to say no to excessive social media scrolling. Subtraction is often more powerful than addition. Track everything, but don't become obsessed with perfection. Keep a simple habit tracker where you can mark off each day you complete your target behaviors. This serves two purposes. It gives you a visual representation of your consistency, and it creates a psychological drive to not break the chain. But remember, the goal isn't a perfect streak. It's overall consistency. If you miss a day, don't throw away weeks of progress. Just get back on track immediately. The compound effect of habits extends far beyond the specific behaviors themselves. When you build a habit of exercising regularly, you don't just get physically stronger. You build confidence, discipline, and proof that you can commit to difficult things. When you build a habit of reading consistently, you don't just gain knowledge. You develop focus, patience, and the ability to learn continuously. Every habit you master makes the next habit easier to build, because you're strengthening your overall capacity for self-discipline. Think about the person you want to become 5 years from now. What does their typical day look like? What habits do they have that you don't? What behaviors are so automatic for them that they happen without conscious thought? Now work backward from that vision. What would you need to be doing consistently right now to become that person? The gap between who you are and who you want to be is filled by daily habits. Your habits will determine not just what you accomplish, but how you feel about yourself. There's no greater confidence booster than consistently following through on commitments you make to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, you're building unshakable self-trust. You're proving that your word means something, even to yourself. The people around you will notice your transformation long before you do. They'll start asking what you're doing differently. They'll comment on your energy, your focus, your discipline. Some will be inspired and ask for advice. Others might feel threatened by your growth and try to pull you back down. Both responses are normal and expected. Your job is to stay focused on your own journey while being a positive example for others. Remember, you're not trying to impress anyone with perfect habits. You're trying to build a life that aligns with your deepest values and biggest dreams. Every small action you take is either moving you toward that life or away from it. There are no neutral actions, no meaningless days, no insignificant choices. Everything counts because everything compounds. The habits you build today will determine the opportunities available to you tomorrow. The discipline you develop now will determine what you're capable of achieving next year. The identity you create through consistent action will determine what becomes possible for the rest of your life. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the fullest, most disciplined, most powerful version of who you already are. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. They're hoping you'll choose discipline over comfort, consistency over perfection, and progress over procrastination. They're hoping you'll build the habits that will carry them to heights you can't even imagine right now. Don't let them down. Don't let yourself down. The time for excuses, for waiting, for hoping things will get easier is over. The time for ruthless habits, for daily discipline, for becoming unstoppable through small, consistent actions is now. Your extraordinary life is waiting on the other side of ordinary habits, executed with extraordinary consistency. The question isn't whether you can do this. You absolutely can. The question is whether you will. And that decision, that commitment, that transformation starts today. Chapter 4. Live like it's already done. Right now, in this very moment, there are two versions of you sitting in that chair. There's the current you, with all your doubts, fears, and limitations. And then there's the future you, the version who has already achieved what you're dreaming about, who has already overcome the obstacles you're facing, who has already become the person you're trying to build. The question isn't whether that future version exists. It does. The question is, are you going to wait to become them, or are you going to start living like them today? Most people spend their entire lives waiting. They wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, the ideal circumstances. They say things like, when I lose weight, then I'll feel confident. When I get the promotion, then I'll feel successful. When I find the right person, then I'll be happy. But here's what separates extraordinary people from ordinary ones. Extraordinary people don't wait to become their future selves. They embody that identity right now, today, in this moment. Think about it this way. Every single thing you admire about successful people, every trait, every habit, every mindset, none of that appeared overnight when they made it. They developed those characteristics long before the world recognized their success. They walked with the confidence of a leader before anyone followed them. They spoke with the authority of an expert before anyone called them one. They carried themselves with the dignity of someone who had already arrived, even when they were just beginning the journey. This is the fundamental shift that changes everything. You don't become confident and then take action. You take action and become confident. You don't wait to feel worthy and then pursue your dreams. You pursue your dreams and discover your worth. The identity comes through the doing, not the other way around. Every single day, with every single choice, you're either moving toward that future version of yourself or away from them. There's no neutral ground. Your future self isn't just sitting around waiting for you to catch up. They're actively making decisions right now. They're choosing what to eat, how to spend their time, who to surround themselves with, what thoughts to entertain. And here's the beautiful truth. You can make those same decisions today. You can eat like someone who values their health. You can manage your time like someone who respects their potential. You can choose relationships like someone who knows their worth. You can think like someone who believes in their capabilities. But this isn't about pretending or putting on an act. This is about recognizing that the gap between who you are and who you want to become isn't as wide as you think. It's not about becoming someone completely different. It's about becoming more authentically you. Your future self isn't a stranger. They're you with less fear, more clarity, stronger boundaries, and deeper self-respect. They've simply made the decision to stop apologizing for taking up space in this world. The beautiful thing about living like your future self is that it eliminates the need for external validation. When you know who you are and where you're going, other people's opinions become background noise. You stop performing for approval and start performing for excellence. You stop seeking permission and start taking responsibility. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you and start believing in yourself so powerfully that it becomes contagious. Let me tell you something about courage. It's not the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and moving forward anyway, because you know that on the other side of that fear is the person you're meant to become. Your future self has walked through every fear you're currently facing. They've had the difficult conversations, made the tough decisions, taken the scary risks. They know something you don't know yet. The fear was always worse than the reality. This is why you must start building in public. Stop hiding your ambitions, your projects, your dreams behind closed doors. The world needs to see you working, creating, striving, becoming. When you build in public, you're not just creating accountability, you're declaring your identity. You're saying, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for. Every post, every project, every public step forward is you claiming your space in the world. Building in public also means being willing to fail in public. Your future self has failed more times than your current self has even tried. They understand that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the pathway to it. Every setback, every mistake, every moment when things don't go according to plan is just data, just feedback, just another step on the journey. The only real failure is giving up before you've given yourself a real chance. Self-respect isn't something you earn from others. It's something you give yourself. It's the way you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. It's the standards you maintain when no one else is watching. It's the promises you keep to yourself when it would be easier to break them. Your future self has unshakable self-respect because they've learned to treat themselves like someone they love. Walking with self-respect means setting boundaries and keeping them. It means saying no to opportunities that don't align with your values, even when they seem appealing in the moment. It means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. It means protecting your energy like the precious resource it is and investing it only in people and pursuits that honor your potential. Here's something profound. Your future self already exists in your imagination, and imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. Every time you visualize success, every time you see yourself achieving your goals, every time you imagine yourself living the life you want, you're not just daydreaming. You're blueprinting reality. You're creating the neural pathways that will guide your actions. You're programming your subconscious mind to recognize opportunities and solutions. But visualization without action is just wishful thinking. Your future self doesn't just dream. They do. They wake up early. They do the work when they don't feel like it. They show up consistently. They invest in their growth. They surround themselves with people who challenge them to be better. They read, they learn, they adapt, they evolve. Every day, they're becoming more of who they're meant to be. The truth is, transformation isn't a destination. It's a daily practice. It's not something that happens to you. It's something you do. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can live as your current self with all your familiar patterns and limitations, or you can live as your future self, making choices that align with who you're becoming. This choice requires radical honesty with yourself. It means acknowledging where you are while refusing to stay there. It means accepting your current circumstances while rejecting the idea that they're permanent. It means being grateful for how far you've come while remaining hungry for where you're going. Your future self has mastered this balance between acceptance and ambition. Living like it's already done also means treating your goals not as distant possibilities, but as current realities in the making. When someone asks what you do, you don't just describe your current job, you describe your mission. When someone asks about your plans, you don't speak in uncertain terms. You speak with the conviction of someone who has already decided. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. You're aligning your identity with your destiny. The most powerful shift happens when you stop trying to become someone different and start remembering who you've always been. Deep down, beneath all the conditioning and fears and doubts, there's a version of you who has never been afraid. There's a part of you that has always known you were capable of extraordinary things. Your job isn't to create this person, it's to uncover them. Every limitation you've accepted, every I can't you've repeated, every dream you've deferred. These aren't truths about you. They're just stories you've been telling yourself, and stories can be rewritten. Your future self has rewritten every limiting story and replaced it with empowering truth. They've learned that the only limitations that matter are the ones they accept. This is why mindset isn't just positive thinking. It's strategic thinking. It's choosing thoughts that serve your growth rather than your comfort. It's focusing on solutions rather than problems. It's asking, how can I, instead of why can't I? Your future self has trained their mind to be their greatest ally rather than their biggest obstacle. The journey from who you are to who you're becoming isn't about perfection. It's about progression. It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel ready. Especially when you don't feel ready. Your future self understands that readiness is a myth. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever. The time to start living like your future self isn't when you feel prepared. It's right now. One of the most important realizations is that your future self isn't judging your current struggles. They're grateful for them. Every challenge you're facing right now is developing the strength, wisdom, and character you'll need for where you're going. The difficulties aren't detours from your path. They're your path. They're the sculptor's chisel, shaping you into who you need to become. This is why comparison is such a dangerous trap. Your future self doesn't compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. They understand that everyone is on their own timeline, facing their own challenges, writing their own story. The only comparison that matters is between who you were yesterday and who you're becoming today. Living authentically as your future self means embracing both your strengths and your growth areas. It means being confident enough to acknowledge what you don't know while being bold enough to learn it. It means being humble enough to ask for help while being self-reliant enough to do the work. This balance of humility and confidence is what creates magnetic leadership. Your future self has learned that success isn't just about achieving goals. It's about who you become in the process of achieving them. The skills you develop, the relationships you build, the character you forge, the impact you create. These are the true measures of a life well lived. The external achievements are just the byproducts of internal transformation. This is why the work you're doing on yourself right now is the most important work you'll ever do. Every book you read, every skill you develop, every fear you face, every boundary you set, every dream you pursue, you're not just changing your circumstances. You're changing your identity. And when your identity changes, everything changes. The most beautiful thing about this journey is that your future self is cheering you on right now. They remember this moment, this struggle, this decision to stop waiting and start living. They remember the courage it took to step into your potential before the world recognized it. They remember the faith it required to believe in yourself when the evidence wasn't there yet. And they want you to know something: you're closer than you think. The gap between who you are and who you're becoming isn't measured in years or achievements. It's measured in decisions. Every time you choose growth over comfort, action over excuses, courage over fear, you're closing that gap. Every time you act from your future identity rather than your past limitations, you're becoming who you're meant to be. The transformation isn't coming, it's happening. Right here, right now, with every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of awareness. You're not becoming your future self someday. You're becoming them today. The future isn't a destination you're traveling toward. It's a reality you're creating with every choice you make. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Your future self needs you to start living like them now. They need you to make the hard choices, take the scary risks, do the uncomfortable work. They need you to believe in the vision, even when you can't see the whole staircase. They need you to trust the process, even when you can't predict the outcome. The time is now. The person is you. The life you've been dreaming about isn't a fantasy. It's a blueprint. And the architect of that life isn't some future version of yourself you hope to become. It's you, right here, right now, with the power to build the life you want, one choice at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time. Live like it's already done, because in the truest sense, it is. Your future self exists because you've decided they exist. Your dreams are real because you've chosen to make them real. Your potential isn't potential anymore. It's your reality waiting to be unveiled. The journey starts now. The transformation starts today. The future starts with this very moment and the choice you're about to make. Will you continue living as who you've been, or will you start living as who you're becoming? Your future self is waiting for your answer, and the world is waiting to meet the real you. I hope this gave you something to think about today. Dr. Julian Vance has been with you all the way. And always remember, keep learning, keep pushing forward. Who stops reading, stops growing.